We are live. We are live. Live. What's up, Ecamm fam? Jill here. How's it going? We are on day 2 of a Descript training. If you were not able to join us live yesterday, no big deal. It lives on the YouTubes, and you can go back and watch that. Today, I'll be joined again by Lou Bortone, and I'm so excited because I learned a lot of good tips yesterday. It made me want to carve out some time in my calendar next week, because I have no time this week, to play with Descript, because I think that it can save me a lot of time in post-production. I'm using a lot of different applications at this point, but I feel like, wow, all right, now maybe I could really utilize that to do some vertical video after I'm done with my long form video. And yeah, I've just got some different ideas. So today is going to be, especially for you, slightly more experienced, or maybe you're getting into Descript and you want to know all that you can do in there. Lou's going to walk us through this. And before we get into it too much, this is part of a new series here on our new Ecamm fam channel. So this channel is for anyone that is either using Ecamm as a production or a live streaming tool, or anyone that's interested in doing all things video. So I tend to do a lot of a mix of corporate stuff and podcasting fun stuff and presenting and training here. And Ecamm obviously is a tool I use because it's the best. But we're gonna be bringing more presentations like this for the fam, by the fam. And what that means is people that are using Ecamm, that have skill sets and passions and experience in tools and products that are Ecamm adjacent, that can kind of help you with your production, whether you're streaming or recording or anything in between. So Lou, welcome back.
Hey,
Day
thanks so much for having me.
2.
Yesterday was fun. Hopefully, we'll share some cool stuff today. But did you like learn anything new about Descript yesterday?
I did. I was definitely impressed with the eye contact thing. Like, I want to play around with that
Hmm.
because I think that I've seen a few different apps that have come up for that, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen it used in Descript, as well as kind of going back and fixing some audio issues or
Yeah.
regenerating words, because that issue I have run into a lot. And I hate it when I know that I could have gotten a soundbite that I didn't get, but I need to fix it in
Hmm.
post for the client or for something really
Yeah.
specific. So I'm going to be playing with that. I want to make sure I learn how to use that.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was thinking like I'm sure some live streamers or Ecamm users are like, well, the whole reason I use Ecamm is so I don't have to do any post-production.
Hmm.
But it's nice to have that option of saying like, okay, I can give this live stream life beyond the time it's on by repurposing it or taking clips or cleaning it up. So for me, I kind of find like, especially when I'm on Ecamm, I'm typically in like a talking head thing. It's like, all right, I really should add some B-roll there. And I could add it. I know we can add it in
Hmm.
Ecamm, but if I don't, I get a second chance to do that in Descript. So you're able to really enhance your live broadcast beyond just going live.
Absolutely, absolutely. And honestly, sometimes like you'll have a live stream or a podcast episode or some type of,
Mhm.
longer form content, and you do just want to share out one little snippet. Like, you don't want to always say, "Oh, I was on a live stream yesterday. Here's an hour long." It can feel like a homework assignment. So if you're wanting to
Mhm.
share just one little part, or you have this like, oh, this really perfect moment that would just live really well as a YouTube short or a reel or something, like, you're going to need to repurpose that content. So you need tools that will
Yeah,
help you do that. So Descript sounds like it
cool.
might be the right
So
option for some people.
yeah, so if you want, I'll jump in and share my screen and we'll talk about some
I'm
more
ready for it.
advanced.
I'm ready for it. I just will
Awesome.
say this, that if anybody, when you're watching us live, if you've got any questions, go ahead and add them in the chat. If you want to make it super easy for us to find, you can do a Q and a colon, and that will make it so that I can kind of see those questions quickly. But if you have any questions for Lou or for myself on Ecamm or on Descript, let us know in the comments. And after this presentation, we'll be able to jump back into that. And yeah, Lou, I'll let you take it away.
Cool. Great. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Alrighty, we'll dive in then. So it's day 2, looking at some more advanced kind of stuff. So hopefully you've had a chance to play with the script a little bit. And yesterday we talked sort of about the fundamentals and some basics like studio sound and removing filler words. And today we can get into some stuff that's just a little bit more advanced. So we'll talk about Underlord, which is Descript's AI suite of tools. And we can also talk a little bit more about scenes and layouts, which we only touched upon yesterday. Some advanced sound editing and AI speech, AI voices, AI avatars, and of course, some workflows. Like I use Descript mostly for producing podcasts and courses and marketing materials and stuff like that. Sound good, Jill? Oh, and you may be off, but
Perfect.
we'll.
Sound good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so Underlord is Descript's what they call their agentic AI co-editor, and they've been working on this for a really long time. And as somebody who teaches Descript, it's a little bit maddening because they add like a new feature every single day, so it's constantly changing. But the idea of Underlord is that now you can use Descript almost like an LLM, like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, because Descript will essentially do what you tell it to do, and you become the director, and Descript is sort of like the AI editor, which is a whole new kind of way to do things. But you can either go into Descript and manually say, okay, take out the filler words, take out the silent things, or you can literally talk to Underlord and say, remove all the repeated takes, edit for clarity, remove my retakes, because Descript understands the video context and the transcript. It can see everything that you're doing and can make those edits for you, which is a little bit mind-blowing. Sometimes it edits a little too much, but the cool thing is if you've done a live stream in Ecamm and then you send it to Descript, you can ask Descript for a visual pass request, which basically is Descript's going to look at the video that you've created, the footage that you have, and it's going to add stock videos or GIFs, captions if you want, and it knows what's on the screen and it knows what you're saying, so it's going to give you a first pass or a first draft of an edit without you having to do anything but touch a button, which is kind of crazy. You can also upload, this is a little bit more advanced, but you can upload your branding elements, like screenshots or logos, and Descript will integrate those, so it will sort of know, okay, Lou uses a lot of purples and pinks or that kind of thing. And you can adapt it for other cultures, which is really crazy, because if I say, do this project for North America and I'm talking about something specific, it's going to take images from there. If I'm doing a project when I'm in Italy and I'm saying doing this for an Italian audience, it's going to pull images and cultural things from there. So it's wicked smart, as we say here in New England. You can do a lot of multi-platform edits, which is great. I think Jill did this yesterday, taking what you have, which is basically a landscape video in Descript, and turning it into a vertical video for TikTok or Instagram. You can ask it, say, hey, make a version of this for YouTube Shorts, and it will automatically turn it into a vertical video. Then the other thing that I use a lot is the show notes and YouTube descriptions, because within Descript, and I'll show you what this is, you can basically say, okay, the video's done, please make a YouTube description for me. And it will give you a SEO optimized title and description and even keywords if you ask for them. So it's kind of interesting, and I tried this morning, and I'll show you what we got, but you can even just put in a prompt. So I'll like I said, I'll show you this in a bit, but I said, do a video about Ecamm's creator camp coming up later this month. And I'll show you what it created. It's pretty amazing from just a prompt. You can also use custom avatars. You can put in your own photo and it will make an avatar of you. So it's pretty wild, some of the things you can do. That's a lot of it's very hands off. If you want to get into really more, precise edits or creating clips, you still have the ability to do that. I was editing a podcast the other day, and the two people were talking over each other enough, but I can focus in on that particular scene where there was a lot of crosstalk and actually go in and clean it up. So it's a powerful editing tool, and sometimes people get, they might have a misconception that, oh, it's just this AI thing that removes filler words, but it actually will do pretty much anything you can do in Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro. So it's a really good substitute for those. Um, in Descript, you can do scenes almost like a PowerPoint presentation, and you can move things around and all kinds of cool stuff. I'll give you guys a copy of this PowerPoint if you want to go deeper, but I don't want to get too mired in all the cool things. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about green screen and eye contact. Automatic multicam is really cool because, again, if you bring in a two-person video, Descript knows who's talking when, and it's going to automatically show who's on screen. And if you make a mistake, you can actually regenerate the audio and the video. So it's pretty smart software. Today, we're going to look a little bit more at the AI voice capabilities because you can use AI voices. They have stock voices in 10 different languages with native speakers. And you can also edit for audio clarity. Besides just adding studio sound, you can tweak it, if there's still a little bit of a hum in the background. So you really do have full control, even though a lot of it is AI generated. If you are doing podcast or panel interviews, you can use what's called Descript Rooms, which is sort of like a Zoom alternative. And again, if you go in and just say, you know what, do a first pass of this, Underlord's going to handle the layout, the filler removal, the retakes, chapter markers, the whole deal. So it's pretty remarkable software. I'm going to jump over to our Descript scene itself so that you can see what it looks like in there and some of these cool things that you can do. Let me just zip through these here. But again, I use it for a lot of different things, and you may look at it as just an editing tool, but you can actually do presentations on it or courses because you can share your screen in Descript. You can record with you on camera or you off camera, and you can really just add all kinds of cool B-roll and things like that. So it has a lot of really good uses, and it's very, very flexible. So let me jump over to, I'm not going to get into this stuff here because it's just kind of a little bit too detailed, but here again you can start for free. They have a $16 a month version called Hobbyist, which is pretty good if you are editing or live streaming on a pretty regular basis. You might want to go for the creator plan, which is what I use, and that gives you unlimited advanced AI and expanded dubbing and that huge stock media library. So for me, the creator plan works great because I'm using it pretty much every day, if not multiple times a day. So let's look at, I'm going to go over to our actual Descript screen here and get this out of the way. And Joe will let me know that she can see everything here and it looks okay from your end.
It looks beautiful, Lou. You're doing a great job.
Lovely, isn't it?
It's
all right.
so nice.
So when you come into Descript, it's going to ask you, how do you want to get started? You can upload a file. You can generate a video from a prompt, which is pretty wild. Or you can paste in a Word doc or a script. Maybe you've already got something. So there are a lot of ways to get your content into Descript. Again, one of the things that I do is edit podcasts quite a bit, two-person podcast. And the cool thing is when you bring it in like that, you can change your scenes. So if you say, I don't want a two-shot here, I just want one person on camera, you can literally take these little blocks, which are scenes, and move them around or change them. When you bring in a podcast or a two-person video like this, it's going to automatically show you who was speaking when, and I can see, again, Natalie's in purple and Paige is in green, so it's easy to identify who's speaking when. And you can go over to the AI tools and then go down to automatic multicam, because maybe it just brought it in as a two-shot all the way through. And if you hit automatic multicam, then Descript is going to know who's talking when and is going to focus on that person. So they're going to jump from a two-shot to a one-shot. Okay, Paige is talking, show Paige. Okay, Natalie's talking, show Natalie. So the multicam is really cool because you don't have to do any editing. Descript does all of that for you. One of my other favorite uses inside of Descript that's a little bit more advanced is the ability to change the size or orientation of your video. And this is great for repurposing because let's say I've got this podcast. I go up to my little magic box up here and I say, make this a portrait video or turn this into a square video. So with one click, you can change the size, or you can take a section of the video. This is my favorite command in here is if you take a section and then right click on your Mac and you'll go to duplicate to, and you say duplicate to new composition. So that's going to take everything that's in these two paragraphs and duplicate that to a new composition. You can see I've selected the paragraph and then I go to a new composition and I might want to make that a different size. So I make it a portrait version. So now I've taken this clip from the podcast and I'm going to turn it into a YouTube short. So I made it portrait size. And now I've got all this extra space here because it just brought in exactly what was on the screen before. I'll go into my background and change the color so it's all consistent. I'll add some captions, and you have a lot of choices on which kinds of captions to add. I move the captions up here and I match the colors. And then I just add a little waveform at the bottom here just to give it some visual interest. And now I'm ready to upload this to TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. So it's very easy to repurpose your content. I know you can do some of the same things in other software, but it's nice that you can do all of this within Descript and don't have to jump around to other apps or resources. So I've added, in this case, I add a little sound wave here. You can add all kinds of different things, progress bars or rings or waves, but I just try to give it a little bit of visual interest so that when this goes on YouTube Shorts, people are going to be able to check out the captions and see that it's a video and be good to go. The other cool thing you could do that's a little bit more advanced is change or clone voices within Descript. So in this case, I've got what was essentially a PowerPoint presentation that I put in here. And if I go up here to where the narration is, I can change the voice to my own cloned voice or to one of their cloned voices. So you have a choice of voices that you can use. If you go to your home screen in Descript, you can go to AI speakers, and then here you can see these are voices that I've cloned already. So these are different versions of me. But you can also go over here to new speaker and say, you know what, I want to have this particular video narrated by an AI speaker. So you can do that, or you can clone your own voice. And to do that, you just go into AI speakers again, and you read a little paragraph here, nice and short. It used to be like you'd have to give it 30 minutes. Now you can just give it this one thing here. You record it, and you give Descript permission to clone or use your voice, and then you're ready to go. And you can also do that if you're doing work for clients. You can have them recorded in their voice, and then you've got their cloned voice to use. If you decide you want to use more of an AI speaker or a generic speaker, you can go to choose an AI speaker, and you've got all kinds of choices of different accents, male, female, old, young, British, Australian. So all of that is done right within Descript. So if I decide, you know what, my audio was terrible in that, I'm going to take it out and have it narrated by a so-called professional voiceover. You can do that right within Descript. So clone your own voice or use another voice. Something that they've added more recently is the ability to assign an avatar. They have like a bunch of semi-animated illustrations here. But when you pick one of these and assign the avatar, not only will that show up on screen, and I have an example of this I could show you, but it will, the lips will move and sync with the vocals. So it's really a way to make a video without having to be on camera at all. And in some cases, you may want to do that. So you pick your avatar, you pick your voice, and you're ready to roll. So in this case, I was speaking here and I decided, I'd rather have a spokesperson or an avatar do that. So I just picked my avatar and I picked my voice. You can mix and match, and then it was good to go. let me just move this out of the way. When you're done with your video and you want to take it to YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or somewhere else, you can go back to the AI tools and then you can ask the AI to draft a title or to summarize the video. Show notes is really cool because if you're doing a podcast, you can automatically get show notes based on your video. Draft a YouTube description. This is really good. I don't think I've written my own YouTube description for months because the descriptions that they give you are good already and SEO optimized. You can do social posts, you can do blog posts. So you've got this whole suite of AI tools that lives inside of Descript. So even when you're done with your video, you can kind of add more elements to it by publishing it to YouTube with a YouTube description or creating a bunch of social posts. So it's a really good way to repurpose your stuff here, whether you want to summarize the video or do social posts or whatever else. This is an example of a YouTube description from this video. And all I had to do was click on draft a YouTube description. It gave me a title. It gave me a nice long description. And it even gave me chapter markers, which YouTube loves. So I can literally cut and paste this into YouTube and my video is ready to go. So that's a huge time saver, and it's already going to sort of do it from an SEO optimized standpoint, so I don't have to rack my brain trying to think of the right keywords and chapter markers and things like that. Same with social posts. You can just say, give me 3 posts that I can use on Instagram or YouTube or wherever, and it gives me these 3 options here that I can cut and paste into LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever with the video, along with hashtags and emojis. If I don't like it, I can ask it to do another round of revisions. And I just go to draft a social post, and it's going to ask whether I want it for a professional network, which I assume is LinkedIn, and the social network, which is more like Facebook. So you just say, give me 3 posts or 5 posts. You can give it some custom instructions, and you're ready to roll. And when you do those clips, you can actually have them stylized as layouts. So you might want to say, okay, I want this, but I want to have a title at the top in this particular layout. So in this case, I've asked it to create 2 60-second clips. You just put in the number of clips you want and the clip duration, and Descript does the rest. So it gave me these 2 clips. One of them's 45 seconds. The other one is 96 seconds. And these are not just the text, but if you click on them, you'll get the actual video section of that. So it's pulling out clips automatically that you can reuse and recycle and repurpose on different platforms. So you just go to create clips and tell it to create whatever clips you want. And this is what shows up. So if I click on this one, it gives me not just the text, but the actual video. And I can go in here and put in a title. In this case, the title, I might just put in here, don't burn out to show you care, because that's the 96 seconds of video that it gave me, all without having to do any cutting and pasting and posting and all that kind of stuff. So what I would like to do now, if it's okay with Jill, is just kind of go into Descript itself and just answer whatever questions we might have and look at some of the more advanced features inside of Descript, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm taking notes yesterday too, like yesterday. So I've got some
Cool.
questions. But yeah, if you want to bring up Descript, and then you can kind of showcase some of these things that you were talking about. And thank you for putting together this presentation, because it's super helpful. And I'm literally thinking about so many different tools and so many different sites that I'm using, that maybe I could just do it all here. I don't know. I've got to play with it. But
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's
the number of times I go to like Chat GPT to do this, and then I'm going over here to do that. Did you mention, is there anything about thumbnails in here, or is that not a part of this?
You can do that, but not so much yet. Like, I haven't really used that function yet. You can ask it to create something, but I still probably go back to Canva for that. I'm just trying to find my correct screen here to make sure I showed the right thing. So just give me a second.
No worries.
In the meantime, if you have any questions or things from your end, let
Yeah,
me know.
I was really intrigued by the idea of the automatic multicam and how that all
Yeah.
works because I'm
Okay,
already
cool.
thinking like, every production that I do here in Ecamm, I've got my full production recording,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've got
Yep.
my video isolated, and then my guest video isolated. So I'm curious
Right.
to see how Descript could take all of that and do
Mm-hmm.
multicam. So, I mean, have you done that yet? That type of like multicam?
Yeah, but yep.
Okay.
But I want to try it in real time just for fun
Yeah.
because I want to see what happens if I take this clip, which was the same podcast that I was playing with Natalie and Paige, and if I click on automatic multicam, it's going to give me the ability to change the layouts, but I want to keep it a pretty straight interview layout, so I'm just going to keep what I have here. And it also says, okay, style automatic, or I can just show the active speaker. And then it asks about cutaways, like, okay, well, do you want occasional cutaways or frequent cutaways?
Huh.
So if I say, okay, let's make it frequent cutaways, and then I just click submit, and there it is.
Cool.
So, and I'll play a little bit of it. You may
Yeah.
not be able to hear it as well, but
You
just to see
don't
how it
have
goes
to
back.
burn out to show you care.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, that's so true.
Goodbye. And
Yeah.
you just let me say it again.
Yeah.
Louder for the back. You don't.
So it's automatically finding who's speaking and it's switching around like, okay, they go from a two shot to a one shot. And you've still got all of your like layouts here that I have not messed around with because not much yet. But I can say, you know what, I'd rather have some text here instead of just the regular two shot. And as I mentioned yesterday, if you're doing projects for clients, I can go in and say, I know that this client uses red and gray, so I can save that layout and
Yeah.
use it whenever I may need it. So I've got all kinds of different client layouts in here that I can go back to without having to reinvent the wheel. I can just say, okay, I'm going to go back to this client's layout and use hers. Because I think some of the ones that they give here I don't love the artwork or the style, but you can customize whatever you might
You
want
can
to bring into
customize
that.
it and then save it, and then you just keep reproducing it. That's awesome.
Yep. The other thing that's a little bit more advanced, which is kind of fun, is
I'm
if you
definitely
go in
here for
here,
the fun stuff, Lou. So definitely,
yeah,
even if it's not something that you use all the time, folks, it's really good to
hmm
see totally different use cases. Because
right,
maybe you just pull one part of this and you're like, okay, I'm not going to use that AI feature, but this would be really helpful. So
yep,
don't let the AI scare you is my message, I guess.
exactly. Yeah, because you can always go back and fix it or customize it.
Hmm.
So this morning I went into Descript and you can start to do a video with a prompt. So I said, create a video about Ecamm's Creator Camp in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And I'm going to show you what it came up with. And you can see over here, this is what I'm doing down here in Underlord on the lower right. That's
Yeah.
where you kind of give it instructions. So my original instruction was just to create the video. And then I did a second one because there wasn't much B-roll. And I said, put some images of Portsmouth, New Hampshire in here. And this is what we came up with, or
Cool.
what Descript came up with just a couple prompts.
Hi everyone! Exciting news for all you content creators out there. The Ecamm Creator Camp is coming to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and it's happening this month. If you're looking to boost your content creation skills and connect with fellow creators, this is the place to be. The Creator Camp is a fantastic opportunity to learn from industry experts,
So you can see it's put in some
dive
B-roll.
into hands-on
It's doing the automatic transitions. I don't know why there's a green person. I think
It's like
that's me after
it's a little Gumby
I
guy.
ate too much. Yeah, I ate too much barbecue in Portsmouth. But it did the captions. Obviously, you can change any of this and you can change the style. I just said, okay, make it fun and playful.
Yeah.
And you'll see where it's doing the transitions by itself. It's doing the scenes by
streaming
itself.
success. Whether you're a beginner eager to learn the ropes or a seasoned pro looking to hone your skills, there's something for everyone. Join us in the picturesque city of Portsmouth, where you can enjoy not just the camp, but also the charming local sights and culture. Space.
Okay, that's Maine,
Cool.
but don't tell anybody. But I didn't write anything. I just gave it a prompt.
Yeah.
So which is pretty wild. So if, beyond just live streaming, there's all this crazy stuff to do where you could just make a video with an avatar or create an avatar. On this screen, you'll see it gives you a bunch of choices to start with, whether you want to edit a podcast or generate a video, turn slides into video. So there's all these new use cases that it's given you. And still, I'm still going to probably use me on camera 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But for those times where I just want to do something totally different, I can go in. I did a quick little Zoom thing, and then I brought it in here, and I added my AI Today logo. So all of it's it's just layers. All of it's movable. I asked it to do some background footage, some stock footage.
Friday and shares interviews with AI influencers and AI thought leaders.
Added music. So
Yeah.
again, when you go to your stock, all this stuff is included with Descript, which is kind of a hidden gold mine because I used to have to go and find music or whatever. So you can either ask it to say, okay, play this type of music or that type of music, or you can just go back to Underlord and ask, hey, I want more upbeat music, and it will find more upbeat music for you. So it's
So that
interesting there.
chatbot is really actually super helpful because
Yeah.
I'm used to, honestly, going through a website. Maybe I'm trying to figure out what my health insurance covers or something. And the idea of clicking on a lower third chat box is not something that I typically go to just because sometimes they're not as helpful. But you're saying in Descript,
Right.
do not ignore the possibility of that AI support on the bottom right.
Yep, because
Okay.
I can literally go down here. This is like yesterday's presentation because I actually rehearsed it and did it before we did it on air. But I can say, just ask Underlord for suggestions or turn this into a 2-minute trailer, which
Yeah.
I'll click, just why not? And, some of the AI stuff takes a little bit more time, but
Sure.
I get impatient with it. But I'm like, it's kind of creating this stuff from scratch. So I guess I have to give it a little bit more leeway. And we can probably come back to that because it may do it and it may not. Sometimes the AI is not 100%.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like with the podcast, when I did multicam, I'm like, whoa, that's way too many cuts. So I actually had to go back and undo some of the Underlord stuff.
Yeah, and we'll find that with everything. I mean, even within programs like Premiere Pro, there are these different add-on things. I think I'd use a thing called Auto Cut, which I'm kind of new to, but
Yeah.
it's been helpful. But sometimes you like if you let AI take the first pass, I'm like, okay, that was too aggressive. Don't cut everything, and you kind of gotta gear it back. But still, if you're still saving a ridiculous amount of time, and if you're if you're doing a lot of long form content and then cranking out short form content, I mean, you can still save yourself a ton of time. I'm going to have you go back and show that stuff, but I do want to make sure that I get to some of these comments and questions.
Absolutely.
So let me just pull up this scene for us real quick. First of all, hi, Rich. Thanks for joining us. Rich has been a longtime Ecamm subscriber, and
Hey, Rich.
he's transitioning from subscriber and supporter to content creator. And so thanks
Yay.
for jumping in and coming over. He wasn't able to join us yesterday, but he was asking us in the Facebook group if he missed too much. Rich, you can go check out day one, and then scrub back to any of the content that Rich shared today. It's a great that Lou shared today. It's a great preview of a tool that could be super helpful. So thanks for being here. It's always good to see you.
Yeah.
All right, I've got some questions that I've starred, and thank you for
Cool.
everyone that's jumping in here. So we've got a question that says, can you upload photos and will it create the slideshow? So maybe if you're giving it a script, we might need a bit more information for your particular use case, but are you able to upload your own
Yeah,
photos?
absolutely.
Okay, and you're
Yep.
going to showcase
So
that.
you can
for us.
import whatever you want.
Okay.
I started to do that with another presentation. And then, you can reference those photos, or anytime you've got a project, I'll go to that screen again here. And this will be a lot of what we're doing tomorrow too, but I can go to my project and I can see that, okay, I've already got my logo in here. So if I click this plus button, I can add any files, whether it's images or B-roll or even music, so I can customize it and bring in my own photos As far as creating the slide presentation for you, I would probably just go to the AI tool and go to Underlord and say, turn this into a slide presentation. But that's what this, the first part of this presentation was essentially a slide presentation. So I just copied my slides and shared my screen and made the slide presentation that way. And this one I did in a software called Gamma, which is kind of like Descript for PowerPoint because it creates it for you. And I did the other half because I was doing screenshots. I did the other half in Canva just so I'd have a little bit more control over it. But
Awesome.
when you go down to your Underlord, again, it'll say like you can just ask Underlord for suggestions like, okay, what should I do to make this video better? And when you see what you get here, it's crazy because they're going to give you like, if you don't know how to, if you're not as good at storytelling or video creation or putting it all together, Underlord's going to give you like, as you can see, it says, look, it says, try again in a second. It didn't like that. So sometimes you have to just redo it because the Underlord doesn't always cooperate it.
Well, and it probably doesn't help that you're running some programs that are very it's pushing your CPU, it's pushing your RAM and everything, because if you have Descript open, you've got Zoom open, you've got Ecamm open, you're doing a lot of I imagine the fans on your computer might be going right now.
Yeah, everything's going wild. But if I just say, so it asked me, would you like me to start by applying a layout pack, adding scene transitions? And I just said, yes, please do that. So it is taking this video that I'm going to have to go and undo all this because I already had finished. But that's the whole thing. Like what I would normally do is just copy this and say, duplicate to new composition. Mm-hmm. Because that way I'm not ruining my original. I'm just creating a copy or a version of this. And it's still thinking here. It says processing changes. So you have to be a little bit more patient with the AI because if you want this to do all this stuff for you, it's going to take a little while.
Absolutely.
Do you have other questions in the chat?
We had another question that was from Pesky Muskrat. With auto multicam, how does Descript jump between different camera angles of a single speaker? A side view, a front on, a desktop cam, and all of that. Yeah, I'm curious. Have you played with that in terms of importing multiple angles of the same?
Yeah, I haven't done it with multicam yet. But it will automatically, if you say, I want close shots and longer shots, it's automatically going to do your zooms and come in closer on you and automatically transition out. And they're very smooth, almost like an Ecamm when you're switching scenes. Mm-hmm. The transitions are built in. So I may not have, I don't have a 3-camera thing here, but if you did bring that in, you just have to give it some instructions like focus on the main one shot, 80% of the time or whatever. So you give it a little bit of guidance, but it does everything.
And I will definitely, to answer that question too, I'm going to be playing with this myself because I do a lot of I'm very interested to see how it's going to take 3 different cameras, videos and pull them together because I do that for corporate work. I do that for my work here in Ecamm. So I will play with that and I will report back because it's definitely a feature I want to try out and see how well it works.
Like all of it, it'll do it. You just may have to find that you have to undo certain things because it's pretty smart, but sometimes it's like, okay, I didn't really want that shot. Or, I was yawning. Don't show this one. So, and then if you see what I'm sharing on screen here, I just asked it to, what are some creative ways I can improve or enhance this video? Please analyze the content. And what it's done already without me asking, other than just saying enhance the video, it put in this lower third without me having to do anything else. So that's one thing. If I keep going, it's going to probably change scenes. I don't know why it's showing a big logo there, but it takes a while to process.
Yeah.
It added, I don't know why this background, like I said, it gives you a good start. You're going to have to go in and probably clean it up a little bit and customize it. And the other thing is what I find too is sometimes it just takes time. Like I get impatient and say, no, I didn't want that. It's like, well, I'm not done yet. Let me finish. Let me finish the process here. So that's kind of cool. In this particular video right now, it's adding captions. So it's all happening kind of in real time. And we'll see what it comes up with in a few minutes.
We've got
And
another question that just came
cool.
up from Tim. That's a great cam question. So another question going along with that: will it keep eye level as well? Something you need to tell it. So if you're
Yeah, if you do go back to your AI tools and click the eye contact function, it's going to automatically, whenever you're on camera, it's going to bring your eyes or your gaze back up towards the center of the screen or the camera.
And then can you, like, let's say that so for example, right now I'm not framed great.
Hmm.
Can I go in Descript and widen it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can micro edit and everything too, because I'll say put me in
yeah,
the center, but then if it's not exactly right, you can kind of tweak it
hmm,
as you want. Okay. So you're not just locked
yeah.
into whatever they do. Similar to other, I
No.
mean, I use Opus Clip sometimes. They give me like a kind of
All right.
top bottom, but sometimes it
Yep.
crops it in too much, and you can double click and fix the
Hmm.
spacing and cropping. So you're able to do some of
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, again, it's going to give you a really good first draft. So it's like, okay, well, that just saved me 45 minutes, and now I can go in and
Tweak it.
fine tune it
Yeah.
and tweak it and do whatever I have to do. Um, the other thing that's really cool that I'll show on my screen here
Hmm.
is by default, they don't show the timeline. So you have to kind of go down and you know, my mouse isn't working. You have to kind of show it yourself. But when you want to do micro edits, you can go down to the timeline here and say, okay, there's a big pause here. I'm just going to take this and pull it back a little bit and tighten it up. So, you can literally move the timeline and take things out. If I see here, I can tell because Natalie is purple and Paige is green, and there was some crosstalk here. But if I double click on that, um, it's going to show me that clip and those two tracks individually. So now I've got like some really serious details. So I can just say, you know what, I need to take Paige down here because she's talking over Natalie. So now I've got the two different tracks on two different levels here, and I can see, down to the second how I can edit that. And I don't use the timeline that much, but it's nice to know that if you need to still go in and do these precise edits, you can just do that, double click on that particular sequence, and then clean it up from there. So
Awesome.
you've got over here, these little tools here. You've still got a blade tool and a range tool and a slip tool. Some of the things that you might see in a traditional editing program, those are all there. It's just that because it's so much easier to just edit the text here, I can do that. I can cross it out, or I can say, maybe if you've done your remove filler words and it's removed a little too much, you can go back and say, restore removed media. So you can it's sort of like an undo button, like, all right, that was too aggressive an edit. I need you to put back what was in there before.
Can you
So you
can you
still have a
show
lot of control.
can you show us how you show and hide that timeline?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally just dragging it up like this
Okay.
with your arrow so I can make it bigger or smaller.
Okay.
So I'm just changing the size of the screen by grabbing this section here. So by default, it doesn't even show the timeline anymore. Like you have to literally like, okay, I know it's down there. I just have to go up and make it bigger so that I can actually see what I'm doing here.
That's cool.
So, and I still will go in again, as an editor and as a control freak, I might go in and say, oh, I'm going to move that a little bit closer. So I still may do some work in the timeline, but most of what I'm doing up here, like you could see, I did strike through on this text and it just took it out. But if I want to go back, sometimes the reason I do strike through instead of delete is I might want to say, you know what, I want to go back and keep that, and I can just unclick it, and now it's back to what it was
You know
before.
what? I heard red. This
So I'm just crossing out what I don't want
Yeah.
here, cleaning it up, and now I've got my interview, each one of these backslashes is a scene change.
So
So
are
if I
you
feel like
manually
it's
doing that? Are you typing in that
no,
backslash? Okay.
nope. Oh yeah, if I want to manually change something, I type in the backslash, but Descript gave me this by default. So this is what Descript's doing, the back and forth cuts. But I might think,
Yes.
you know,
And I think that is actually
Yeah.
I might think
what,
it's like I don't want to go cut back to her every time she says yeah, so I can go in and clean that up or just remove that scene change.
Yeah.
So even though it's given me something to work with, I can still go in and do more, more control.
That's
The
awesome.
other thing that's really cool is if I say I want to take this section and add B-roll, I can just say, okay, I'm going to make it its own scene. So I'm going to do a slash mark here and a slash mark here. And that way, whatever I drag over to this particular section, like if I just say, I'm going to go back to stock video and I want to have a scarecrow here, because why not? Now when I come to that scene, I've got my, again, it's still back there. I just have to cover it up or not cover it up. So I can go into a particular scene, right down to the word, and add something with that.
Yep.
So it's kind of cool. It's just that like all I had was a podcast with these that they recorded on Zoom, both on camera, and then Descript decided when to show Paige and when to show Natalie and when to show both of them.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so that's just a few of the other cool things you can do. One of the things I like to do, because I don't always like my background, is I'll go back to AI tools and I'll say, do green screen on this. And when I click green screen, actually, this is a really long thing, but you can see it knocked out her background.
Yeah.
So if I want her to be in an office or something like that, I can just do a search for office images or office photos or GIFs or even backgrounds, which is something I use a lot because maybe I just want, sort of an abstract background. And I can drag that over and then that will become her background instead of what was there before. It takes a little while to get there. So now you can see the background changed.
Yeah.
And it's a good green screen. I mean, it's how hard if you've done green screen it is
100%.
if you're dealing with hair and things like that. But
addiction to
right out of the box, it's given you a pretty damn good green
the
screen.
care, the illusion.
So that's something that I use quite a bit, just being able to change the background. And because a lot of times if you're doing interviews like that, whether it's in Ecamm or whatever, you can't control what the co-host's background is.
Right. Yeah.
So in this case, I would say, oh my God, she's got way too much headroom. That's not a good shot. Or she looks short and I look tall.
Yeah.
But again, I can go in and crop that and change it and do whatever I need to do to customize it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We do have, I think, maybe one more question. And listen, for anybody that's jumping in at any point in this, if you would like to ask questions in real time tomorrow about Descript, if you'd like to have your Descript open and have Lou as your live guide, join us tomorrow in the link of this YouTube video. We're going to be doing a live Q&A tomorrow in Zoom. It's not going to be streamed. I'll record it just in case, there's any magical moments that we can share out in the community later, but it'll be just
In
a
the
really
unlikely event I say something smart.
I think that's more likely than you give yourself credit for. I'm sure that you'll say something wicked smart.
Tomorrow. We should call tomorrow. Let's break the script because we'll see how we can.
Let's break it. But definitely join us because those type of Zoom calls are just really helpful. It's the same as we do office hours here in Ecamm. So shame